Welcome to Uncle's Channel. Thanks for watching today. Let's talk about a very important thing that is life-changing to the vast majority of the world. The colors in the first 251 Pokemon are all wrong. So if you played red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, or crystal, all of the artwork inside of the manuals, the player's guides, and even some of the Pokemon cards at the time all use basically low quality, high contrast scans of the original artwork that was supposed to be used inside of these manuals. Now, Ken Sugimori, and I could be totally saying the name wrong on that, is the original watercolor artist behind all of the first 251 Pokemon. And as you can see here, like they're definitely more detailed, a little bit more darker in a lot of areas. But evidently when Nintendo scanned in his original watercolor artwork, they lowered the quality of every single image as well as raising the contrast to a very high degree on every single image. And this is the artwork that we ended up getting in the manuals as well as the player's guides, and what so many players know as the original Pokemon artwork. I mean, I even looked in my original, I actually got it out, I got my old Pokemon yellow original box out here, and even looked at the artwork, and sure enough, and I'll probably do a little cut here if that doesn't show up too well on the camera, but you can see Diglett there. And Diglett 100% is the washed out version that's on the screen here. And then you can see it flash back and forth between what was the original watercolor artwork. And holy cow, like look at the detailed difference in the two of those things. Yes, the washed out one is sort of what I'm nostalgic for, but obviously the original artwork is way better and looks like what it should look on the cartoon, and also what the original artist had in mind when he created the imagery for this particular Pokemon. And this goes for all Generation 1 and Generation 2 Pokemon. So 251 Pokemon all have the wrong colors, at least in the original artwork for the games. Obviously, like the television show, that's going to have it correct, and at least later on Pokemon cards, that's going to have it correct. But the original games, as well as the original cards, are going to have the faded out artwork. So how did all of this just now come to light like 20-something years after the fact? Well, it comes to us through a fella known as lv.x. He's a YouTuber as well as a Pokemon art enthusiast. His name is Lewis, and he combined it with Mewtwo to make lv.x out of that. But he basically found an old player's guide for Gold and Silver that was Japanese only, that had the original artwork scanned inside that particular player's guide. Now, how do you know that was the original artwork? Well, there's a lot of connections within the Pokemon art community, and evidently they knew what the original artwork was supposed to look like. It lined up with that, and so he and several other Pokemon art enthusiasts got together, and they've been working through this player's guide as well as finding other art sources to basically bring out the original artwork or watercolor artwork of Ken Sugimori. Now, they've got several of them done so far. They're basically trying to get them as high quality as possible, getting the absolute best scans, and it's just going to take them probably months or maybe even a year or so to get all the scans out. But I got several, and I've been trying to show them on the screen here as we go, and you can see like they are so much better quality than the original ones that we got here in the United States. Now, obviously I showed Diglett and several other ones on the screen earlier. Let's look at a few of them a little bit more individually. Of course, we have Ivysaur over here. This is the newest scan, which is the green scan. And that's how Ivysaur is supposed to look. And if you look at like later games, like, all the way up to like Smash Bros. Ultimate, this is the coloring that Ivysaur has throughout all of that, even in like the cartoon, everything. And this is the original scan we have inside the American version of the manual, and we have the blue Ivysaur. And I'm going to look in the manual right here and see if that matches up. Hang on, it's got to be in here somewhere. Well, there's Venusaur. Oh, here we go. Well, this is Bulbasaur, but you can see right there, the Bulbasaur we have in our manual is definitely going to be the blue one, just like it is on the screen there for Ivysaur. Yes, I know it's a different evolution, but it's going to have the same pigment of coloring when it comes to its lower evolution. And so you can see the original scans that we have, or the, I guess, not high quality scans that we have, are going to be off on the colors a little bit. Now, obviously, growing up, I thought this was the original color of Ivysaur, and if someone had asked me, even now, like, what color is Ivysaur, I probably would have even said, like, light blue. And that's obviously incorrect compared to like all other translations and correct translations for Ivysaur. And then you scroll down the Twitter page here, you have another image, and this one's of Tauros. And you can definitely see our version is more washed out, more of a light brown, almost sort of a orangish, reddish looking, as well as the tail being more on the, I guess, bluish side, where the original version was definitely more of a dark brown, black fur, black or grayish looking tail in the back. And so definitely complete contrast difference of the two Pokemon there. And truth be told, like the original washed out version made like complete sense to me, because we raised sort of a reddish cows growing up, and so almost all of our cows looked almost identical to the one on the left. And so to me, like, that looks very much like what a a cow or a bull could look like. And on the right, obviously there are darker cows out there, but at least growing up here in Middle Tennessee, most of our cows looked closer to this particular color. And so, you know, it made sense to me. But let's continue to scroll down here. And then we have a Ditto, and my gosh, like look at our Ditto. Our Ditto is almost pretty much like a translucent. You can pretty much see straight through it. And the original Ditto is supposed to be completely purple. And obviously if you watched the television show, you knew like Ditto's original colors. But it never did like bother me or think twice about Ditto being translucent, because I mean like he's mimicking other Pokemon. So if he has like no color to start with, it'd be easier to mimic another color. I don't know, that was the logic I had when I was a kid anyway. But obviously you can see the original artwork is what Ditto was supposed to look like. And we got this very, very, very washed out version of that. And the same can somewhat be said for Mew as well. Here's the original version of Mew. He didn't put the, I guess the default version beside to contrast it. I'll try to put that in here in the side imagery here so you can sort of contrast the two of them. But definitely the pinks come through more thoroughly on the Mew, which is, you know, like Dittos or messed up versions of Mew. And so the coloring is going to make sense on that as well. Now, obviously, he hasn't done the vast majority of the scans for these Pokemon because there's a heck of a lot of them to go through. And he's trying to get the best possible quality he can, match the colors pretty much perfectly as he scans these in. And he wants to put them on sites like Bulbapedia, as far as like a lot of other official Pokemon websites as well, so people can see like what these Pokemon were supposed to look like according to the original watercolor artist. Now, when he announced he was going to upload all these images to these big Pokemon sites, a lot of fans were somewhat upset because they were afraid the nostalgic, washed out watercolor artwork was just simply going to be erased and they're going to put in the original artwork. Now, historically speaking, obviously, you know, you want the original one there and you want the best possible scans of it. So he's doing a good service to the original Pokemon imagery, or the original Pokemon, I guess, concept or direction they were trying to go in. But nostalgic wise, a lot of people, you know, have memories of that washed out watercolor and they don't want to lose what they knew as children or what they knew as, you know, original Pokemon players here in America. So a lot of people went to his particular Twitter page and did what they sadly know how to do best. And they left a lot of mean comments on his Twitter page saying that he was erasing the Pokemon history. He was erasing their childhood by uploading all of these new perfectly scanned images. And so he actually went on his Twitter page and basically tried to clarify that he's not trying to erase what you know as a kid inside your manuals, inside your player's guides and things like that. He's just simply trying to put the other correct images out there as an alternative way to look at them. In all of the uploads that he's doing, as far as like the big pages like Bulbapedia, he's doing it where you can look at the original artwork from America as well as the corrected watercolor scans. And so he's allowing you to see both versions of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that way, if you want to keep your childhood, you most certainly can. You can ignore all these high quality scanned images. But if you want to see what they should have looked like, you can also look at those as well. And I see nothing wrong with that. But he did an entire, like Twitter post here. And you can see it all here. And you can read through all that if you want to at some point as well. I'll put a link to his Twitter in the description down below. But he basically said, like I mentioned there, he's going to do both images so you can see side by side what they should have looked like, as well as where he got his sources from. It's not just simply random scans he just sort of made up out of nowhere. These are very much vetted, very much the original artwork of Ken Sugimori, and what he would have liked to have seen for the original Pokemon direction. But me personally, I do love seeing the original artwork here. I love seeing what the artist's interpretation was for all these Pokemon, what they were originally designed to actually look like. But I also love the washed out images as well, because that's what I pretty much grew up on. That's what I'm nostalgic for. I have specific memories of some of those colors for those Pokemon. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, Tauros, I mean, the light brown, sort of reddish looking, that's what I knew growing up with our cows. I mean, that's what our cows looked like. That's what Tauros looked like. It made complete perfect sense. And that's probably the imagery to always keep for that particular Pokemon. So I guess what it boils down to is I just simply enjoy both sides of the coin. I enjoy seeing the original artwork, but I also enjoy the washed out nostalgic imagery that I have from when I was a kid. And I think what lv.x is trying to do here is just simply give everybody the alternative, or the option at least, to see what the original interpretation was. And he's not trying to erase the washed out images. He just simply wants to give you the option to see both. And I think that is personally pretty darn awesome. But like I said, I'll be following this over the next couple years, or hopefully shorter than that, and finally maybe do a video of like all 251 when he gets all of them done. We can do a comparison video. But until then, feel free to follow his Twitter page. You can keep up with all the updates as far as which ones he's doing, compare to artwork on your own as you go through the entire process. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Check out other videos listed up above. And as always, go out there, find a great game to play. Just simply have a great rest of the day.